Do you want a quick way to earn $20,000? Well, enter the world's first AI beauty pageant. Now let's discuss. Welcome to the In a Nutshell podcast with myself, Andrew Miles Davis, and my co-host Chris Branch. This is the daily 10-minute podcast where we take out all of the techie talk around generative AI and focus on what the everyday person, content creator, and marketer wants to hear. Now, we've only got 10 minutes, so we can only focus on one subject. And today we're going to talk about a subject that I have to admit sounds very controversial. And that is the world's first beauty pageant for AI women has been announced with a $20,000 prize. So, very quickly, in a nutshell, no pun intended, what somebody is doing, and we'll get into the details of who the someone is saying that anyone who can use any of these image generators can create, in their eyes, a beautiful woman, enter it for this competition, and the winner gets 20K. Now, you can see all types of, well, I could see, as soon as I read that headline, I could read a whole bunch of problems that could arise, as well as ethical issues and what can and can't be done and what should or shouldn't be done already. But so, Chris, what's your thoughts initially when you heard about this?
Yeah, it's like a PR landmine, isn't it? But maybe that was the whole point of it. Maybe that, it was a stunt. In a weird way, it's going to be kind of like, an art project, because like you said, it is an AI avatar and therefore someone had to create it. It's not a human being. And even though they are anthropomorphic, like they look like human beings, clearly these are just digital people that are crafted by digital artists in a way. So like, it's not surprising that this is going to happen, because that's one of the things that's been used a lot in generative AI, unfortunate though it may be. But yeah, it's certainly controversial.
Yeah, it's almost like, are they trying to be, do they want controversy or conversations? You kind of get both, because obviously we're talking about it. Because the platform's called Fanview. So they're the ones that's putting it on. And what essentially they're doing is they're kind of skipping past, as you mentioned, skipping past humans entirely and saying to anyone who can create an AI image to enter this particular competition. And there's going to be different ranges of what they decide beauty is. Now, the reason why I was like, okay, conversational or controversial, the controversy for me sits, it's only women. Essentially, what they're saying is you can only create beautiful women in what you think a beautiful woman is. But then someone has to judge it. That's the thing. And that whether the someone is them or it's a voting system, which can easily be gamed. But why start with women? That's the thing. Is it because they did some research and they said, more people look at women, beautiful women on the internet, that's why we've done it? Or it is what you said, it's a PR thing. So let's go with this because we know it's going to create conversation. We know it's going to be controversial, but at least people are now going to hear of Fanview, and it could work that way.
Well, my first guess is that it's probably made by men. That's the main reason that it's got women in it, is that like, and that's, an interesting like look at the climate of technology as a whole, is that there are far fewer women in AI than there are men at the moment. And so the bias is that so many men are doing this type of thing, and it will be seen as sexist. Absolutely. They should have made it so that you could enter anything, like an alien creature, a female, a male, like all sorts of types of things. But clearly, this is an easy thing to market because every single newspaper is going to jump on that headline, right? Like that. I think that's maybe the whole point of it. I think it is the core of the most controversial thing they could have done and kept it to one message, is it's just for women, and the images that you shared on your LinkedIn post, were already raunchy. So it's kind of like, it's almost enticing the hate and therefore the PR that will come from
the
that.
conversations and the engagement and their name getting out there. It's the old saying, all news is good news. All
Yeah.
conversations is good conversations, but as long as they're talking about you, that's the way it seems
Yeah.
to be. But I'm just going to go into a bit more detail because this is where it actually starts getting interesting. In the when I say interesting, in the case that I think this type of competition can work, not just obviously for what it actually is, but you could do it for anything. You could do it for dogs, you could do it for cats, you could do it for cows, you could do it
Mm.
for men,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
do it for all different types of beings because of the structure of it. Because one of the things that you have to do is you obviously attach an image of the AI generated person you create, and then you have to answer a long list of questions. Now,
Mm.
with some of the questions, it will be like pageant style, like you see these beauty contests and they ask
Mm.
questions and they just need to answer. But it's aimed at the AI generated women, the woman's chatbot. So I'm kind of guessing that the AI generated person that you've created will also have some form of GPT behind it that can
Mm.
speak back and answer questions. That's what I'm thinking.
They'll
Or
give it a finely tuned personality for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
exactly. Or someone will answer a question and you'll use a like a chat GPT and then kind of answer it that way. So I thought actually that was quite interesting the way they've done that. And then also they said they want to know how many followings you have or what you're doing on social media as well. So it's
Sure.
not just oh let's just go and create something quick. I think it's create something, put it on a social media profile, start growing your profile, and that's going to help you when it comes to the judging of it. You can just
Mm.
put out anything with no following, but it looks like the more people you've got on social media, the more you can more likely chance you are to win.
Well, the big thing that we've already discussed in AI avatars and influencers is that most of them are run by creative agencies,
Mm.
right? Like that's what we uncovered is that the biggest ones right now, the ones with millions of followers, that's going to be a lot easier for a brand to work with than the actual influencer like Kim Kardashian, who might, be very temperamental and be very, specific and just difficult to work with versus a creative agency that made an avatar of somebody who is very used to working with brands and would be a lot easier to work with than an actual influencer. So I'm imagining that to be the initial, like, best of all of these avatars in winning all of the competitions is agency based, influencers and models and stuff like that, as opposed to individually made ones. Because, like you said, why would they have a need to have a social presence right now?
Yeah,
Agencies can leverage that for brand work and other things prior to these beauty pageants.
yeah,
So
yeah. So it becomes a marketing campaign.
definitely, it
Especially
definitely,
also just looking that one of the judges, well, some of the judges will be AI generated people anyway. So, for example, you've got we spoke about a couple already on the show, but one of the main ones is Itana Lopez. She's a Spanish model. She has like
yeah,
300,000 followers on Instagram. She's going to be a judge. So, but obviously,
right.
the agency who built her is going to be the judge.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but
Yeah,
it's that's kind of what they're thinking, what they're doing. Is they
it's
actually said that a quote is they want it to be like the AI Oscars for the Creator Academy. So you
yeah,
can tell that this might be the controversial thing to get the conversations happening. But just like us, when we started looking and digging a bit deeper, actually they're looking to build something bigger. And
mm,
I don't like the play on. Oh, let's do it and try and get hot women to promote it.
mm.
I don't really like the fact that they've done that, but they probably looked at it and thought that's the best way to get those conversations going.
It's
So
it's the widest marketing angle you could have played,
yeah,
and they did that for a reason. But like you say, when you look under the hood with anything that seems nefarious at first, like this, it's actually quite surprising who's creatively behind it. Like big creative agencies will have made the biggest influencers, and if they really genuinely want to be the Oscars of this stuff, then it's definitely going to happen.
yeah,
You know, AI will have its own Oscars, and their play is a bit raunchy, but
mm.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it makes total sense. There is going to be, as I said, like Oscars award ceremonies around this particular subject, but in a nutshell, it looks like AI generated competitions, and in this case, beauty competitions, looks like yet another thing that we're going to see more and more of in the future.
definitely.